Still. Let's have a look at the clock. Good morning, everyone. It is day 3 on another hashtag game-changing week on the random acts of kindness. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. If you're the sort of person that really wants to be the very best that you can be, wants to achieve your hopes, your dreams, your goals, your ambitions, then you have come to the right place. But the easiest thing you can do is come here, listen for a few seconds, go, the same for me, and go and watch another cat video on Facebook or YouTube. Not that there's anything wrong watching cat videos. In fact, my cat is here. It probably won't take very long for the cat to get up and go away, because she's not a massive fan of this energy. You know, she doesn't need this. This cat does not need personal development. All right. This cat doesn't need to know how to feel positive. This cat doesn't need to know how to deal with adversity. Well, it kind of does, but in a different way to us. This cat doesn't have consciousness. This cat is just, it is a cat. We have consciousness. You need to go to work on yourself if you are interested in being the best you can be. So let me ask you a question. Before I ask you the question, please, let's roll my sleeves up, because today is going to be a big day for many of you. Please feel free to share this. It only takes one person to watch this who wouldn't normally watch it, to watch it, and their whole world to change. And it's happened multiple times. Many people have found my 365 by chance. Many people have found it because they were looking for it. They needed some help. Many people found out about it because someone posted it and they clicked on it and they listened. But the hardest thing is to hold your attention. I mean, even right now, some of you are challenged right now. I've not got your full attention. What would I have to do to get your full attention? If I took off all my clothes right now and started jumping around, so everything was just all over the place, I'd have your attention. But for how long? You know, how long would I have your attention until your attention went somewhere else? And this is something we have to work at and we have to train. We have to train our attention. Look at Abigail Newman, our member of the month. She's just shared this and invited people to look at it. Whether they do, whether they don't, it's none of her business. It's none of my business. It's putting it out there. And are you prepared to put yourself out there? Because this week we're looking at random acts of kindness. And I know that many people, when they saw that I was doing this, they thought to themselves, this is great, being kind to other people, you know, giving someone homeless in the street, your time, your energy. Someone once said to me, do you have any spare change in the street? I said, yeah, I've got lots of change. What type of change do you want? Do you want to change your circumstances? Do you want to change? Because this is what I'm into. I'm into change. Who's into change? Put your hand up. You're into change, changing things for the better. You're into it, but do you do it? No. You know why? Because some of you, here comes the chastising. Some of you still haven't committed to being the very, very best you can be. I made some notes this morning, which I've got to share with you. Today, very impactful. Listen up. Give me your full attention, because today you might want to mark the day, the 2nd of August, 2017, where hashtag game-changing moments. When we look at what kindness means, we're looking at the act of being friendly, generous, and considerate. Okay, so you know that. So Pete, what have I learned this week? Well, I've learned what kindness is: friendly, generous, and considerate. And being that way to other people, that's what my parents taught me extremely well, how to be that way for every single human being that you meet in the world. My wife is that as well. If anyone ever asks her who's serving her, she goes, hey, how are you? And then the person will say something, and how are you? And Hannah will always say, you know, amazing or brilliant. I can see the feet. See, the cat's getting up now because the cat doesn't, I don't need to hear this. But in many cases, I believe you do need to hear this. You need to hear the fact that you are not as friendly and as generous and as considerate to yourself as you could be. And many of you, for whatever reason, one of the biggest reasons is it's hard work to do that. It means you can't hide. You have to face up. Many of us can hide it. If you think, what's the biggest random act of kindness we can give the world? And this is where we go big. the biggest gift, the biggest kind, and it shouldn't be random, but for many of you it is, it's to follow your bliss. Now, what does that mean? By the way, if you look up the word bliss, it means perfect happiness and great joy, oblivious to anything else. Okay, that's what the word means. And I have to ask you this question today. When do you feel most alive? When do you feel at your best? What is it that you're doing that when you do it, you feel strong and powerful? You feel like this is what you were put on this earth to do. You see, to be really kind, the random act of kindness is to follow your bliss. To follow, and this is something I wrote down this morning, and there's someone who's still very famous in the world today, even after all of these thousands of years, and it was, where is it? Okay, so until one is committed, right? One is committed, there is always hesitation, the chance to draw back. And that's where if you, ineffectiveness, and there's a real lack of initiative and creativity, if you fail to be all in. And that's why many of you, you know this, many of you who still see me as your coach, you still play around with this, you haven't fully committed to it. And if you fully commit to something, amazing things will happen. And I cannot begin to tell you that there are certain people who've been following me doing this for a while, and their life has changed beyond all recognition because they decided to fully commit. And when you decide, you cut yourself off. To desir, to cut off from all other eventualities. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. So I have to ask you the question, when do you feel most alive? See, it's almost like being reborn. And if you think about a snake, right? A snake that can't shed its skin, it dies. It's the same with, I think, lobsters. They shed their shell. And if they can't shed their shell, they die. And this is really what I wanted to say. And this is what Jesus said, right? Well, apparently he said, I wonder if he said the exact words, but if you bring forth what is inside you, what you bring forwards will save you. If you don't bring it forwards, it will destroy you. And we all know that most of us, we're not following our bliss. And I'm not saying, look, go out there and change your job. You might want to do that. We've had many of my 365ers who have done that, who've been able to do that, but they were clever enough to maybe think about being a plan to do that, to follow your bliss. Like Hannah, her bliss is to making things. She loves stitching. She loves making things. She can't help herself from doing it. It's when she feels most alive. To be able to follow something that you love doing that makes you feel alive. And this is, again, hugely powerful. This is what Joseph Campbell, many of you have seen the film Finding Joe. And one of the things that Joseph Campbell says is, many people say, I'm seeking the meaning of life. No, no, no. We should all be seeking the experience of being alive. The experience of being alive. When do you feel most alive? And it's challenging, you know, if you've got a job that you don't really enjoy doing and you've got maybe a big family and big commitments, but it's your challenge. It's your challenge to take that challenge on and to think, what's a random act of kindness? What is the biggest bit of kindness you can give yourself? For many of you, it's fully committing to what you're doing instead of playing around with it, which is what many people do. Let me say this again. Jesus, who can believe I'm quoting Jesus? But Jesus was, I reckon he was a pretty wise man, right? He said, if you bring forth what is inside you, what you bring forwards will save you. If you don't, it will destroy you. So, and this is where we have to walk the path. This again, maybe some of you weren't expecting me to talk about this week. I need to take, no, I don't need to take this off because I'm topless underneath. I thought I had a t-shirt on. When we talk about following our path, whose paths are you on? Many of us have followed the path that our parents followed. Many of us followed the path that we thought was the safe path. Many of us followed the path that our friends took rather than following our own path. And again, in mythology, King Arthur apparently said to the knights, look, let's go into the forest, but let's go into the forest in a path where it looks like no one has been before, to follow your own path. And it's up to you to work out what makes you feel most alive. What makes me feel most alive? There are a few things, but one of them most definitely is serving you, being here for you, being up in front of people. There's a video on my homepage that you can see, and feel free to share that if you want. It's me presenting, there's no way I can read that quote there, by the way. Presenting at a conference for Barclaycard. And when I'm on stage sometimes, I feel so alive. I feel like this is what I was put on this earth to do. And it could be anything that you find meaning in. It could be cooking. It could be anything, rather than, and this is where, when we talk about things destroying us, it's this because we're zoning out from doing the things which make us feel most alive. You know, you might get a hit of dopamine if you're watching the news, or you're just checking things constantly, or watching a soap opera, but there's a part of you that just wants to grow. And if you're going to follow the path that your bliss, don't necessarily expect it to be easy. So let me tell you what an amazing community this is. You probably won't find a more positive community in the whole world as what we have on My365. So one of our My365 elite members, he just got sacked the other day. Many of you know who I'm talking about here. And that's a big challenge to him. But he's been enough on this journey to realize, okay, I'm going to make the most of this. I'm going to find meaning in this, and I'm going to go through it, and my life will be better because of it. But another My365 elite member decided, I'm going to buy him a journal. I think because his My365 journal is coming to an end. And he just found out about this morning and just made a little video, and you could quite clearly see he was quite emotional about the fact that someone out there is prepared to help that person. But my point for this is, please, we don't have to help people who are helpless. We should help people that are helpless. But the best thing we can do is help people who want to help themselves. How do we do that? Show up, be an example. You know, are you going to work out, if you don't know what your bliss is, right? Then it might take a while to find out, but I dare you to fully commit to taking your life on and sharing your unique gifts and your unique talents with the world. I could go on and on and on, but I'm not going to do that, you know? I'm not going to do that. Let me just finish up on saying a couple more things. So who resonates with that? People say, I'm seeking the meaning of life. No, we should be seeking the experience of being alive, feeling alive. Everyone wants that. And that's why a lot of people zone out. They think being alive was watching a scary movie or taking drugs or eating on copious amounts of filth. That's the being alive. But there's always something missing, because there's something deeper inside all human beings, I believe, about wanting to contribute, wanting to make a difference. And what's the biggest difference that you can make to this world? Think about it. What is the biggest difference you can make to this world? Is the biggest difference you can make to this world giving everything you have right now to someone who needs it? Yeah, that would be quite nice of you. But then what happens to you? You'd be in exactly the same position. Maybe someone else would do that for you. But do you not think one of the greatest gifts you can give the world is to be an example? To show the world what you're capable of? To show the world that you can be slimmer, fitter, healthier, to show the world that you can follow your bliss, to show the world that there's more to you than meets the eye, to show the world that you find meaning in the life that you have, for you to show the world that you identify with you and the biggest random act of kindness. And I promise you, the reason I keep saying random is because for many of you, this is random. This is just random. This whole thing is random. Because you show up, but you don't show up and give it your all. And I want you to ask this question today. Answer this question. Are you in, or are you all in? And if you were all in to being coached and to growing yourself, what would that look like? What would that look like compared to what you're doing now? And I cannot say this to you enough. If you go on a path of getting better, just remember how you grow is through something that challenges you. It's the challenges that make us stronger. I'm challenged right now by something. Something is challenging me. But you think I'm going to let it beat me? No chance. There's just not a hope in hell. It's not going to happen. What about you? Looking at everyone's comments now. When some people say, I'm working on finding my purpose, do what makes you feel most alive. And if you don't know what makes you feel most alive, go and seek experience that makes you feel alive. Before, not always before, during and afterwards. When people seek temporary highs, smoking, drinking, whatever it is, eating too much, how do they feel? That is of doing something that's great for you, is how you feel afterwards. The sense of bettering yourself. You know, we talk about confidence, and we'll spend another week on confidence. I can see the screen keeps freezing. When we talk about confidence, confidence comes from the Latin word confidere, to trust yourself. The reason people don't trust themselves is deep down they know they're not doing what they're capable of doing, and deep down they know they're telling themselves that I'm going to do this, and they don't do it. It's time for us to show up. It's time for us to be counted. It's time for us to do the biggest random act of kindness we can ever do till it stops becoming random, and that's to commit to being the very, very best version of ourselves, to be a superhero in our own life. You're on a journey. So many of you are on this journey with me, but let's go for it. Let's really, really go for it. Let's be a superhero in our life. What is My 365? It's your opportunity for you to be the very best that you can be. Many of you have taken this all in, hands down, you're in. Let's go to another level. Who's with me? Let's finish off with this. Are you ready? Are you ready for something? Who's ready for something? Who's ready for something? Who's ready? Just say yes or no. And every time you hear the word yes, just or no, just say yes. So every time you hear someone say the word yes, just say yes. We're running over a little bit today, but that's okay. Just read it. Yes. Yes. Right? All in. No. Yes or no. Yes or no. Not ready. Just say yes or no. Are you in? Yes or no. Yes. Just and read yes. Yes. How many times did you read it? Yes. 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 How many times? Not ready. Yes. 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 Read it. Read it. Yes. 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 All these people saying yes. Yes, yes, yes. Now notice how you feel when you say yes. Notice how you feel. Yes. Yes to life. Yes. Yes. Now say no. Don't type no, just say no. 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 Notice the feelings that are attached to the word. No. 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 How do you feel when you say no? No. You're saying no to life. You're saying no to life every day by not saying yes. Yes. Now say yes. Notice how you feel. Yes. It's a completely different emotional charge. I'm very fortunate to work with a few people, whereas you ask them to do something, it's always yes. And sometimes it's even beyond yes, because they take the idea and they take it somewhere else. Say yes to life. Say yes to life. If someone asks you to do it, just say yes. One of the businesses that we have that we've been so successful in and just had our best month ever in this business, you see the ones who are successful, they're the ones who just go, yes. Yeah, just go, yes, yes, yes. Tell me what to do. I'll figure it out later. I don't even know what I'm doing, but I'll just say yes. So just say yes. Just say yes to life. Just say yes. Yes. Say it to yourself 100 times today, 1,000 times. Yes. It's an emotional charge. Say yes to your life. Say yes to My 365. Say yes to keeping a journal. Say yes to whatever it is. But even I feel so different. How do you feel right now hearing all of these people's yeses. How many of you can feel charge in your body? My body's charged. Yes, yes, yes. Now you're going to be challenged. Go outside today. You're going to get some rejection. So my friend who just lost his job, I bet he's going to find some rejection along the way. But if he keeps saying yes to yes to yes, when he gets an interview, people are going to say yes to him even before he's opened his mouth. Because who we are, it vibrates. That's what we send out to the world. When you commit to following your bliss and doing what makes you feel most alive, life comes to you. It's there for you. Have an amazing day. It's time for a 1-minute summary on Instagram. Thank you, Instas. Much love to all. Let's end that. No, let's end. No, I could even share it. Share your video for the next 24 hours. Who do I share it with? Well, it's already shared. So my video is on Instagram for the next 24 hours. Wow, I didn't know you could do that until yesterday. Amazing. Are we ready for the 1-minute summary? Are we ready? The 1-minute summary is coming now. So it is day 2 on the week on random acts of kindness. And we flip this on its head because that's one of the things we love to do with My365. And we're talking about one of the biggest random acts of kindness is to follow your bliss. What does that mean, to follow your bliss? Your bliss means what you do, that when you do it, you feel most alive. But you don't only just feel alive from doing it, you feel alive afterwards, as opposed to drinking, taking drugs, eating too much, where you might feel good thinking about it and doing it, but for most cases, people feel terrible afterwards. So I wrote down something this morning. You know, people say I'm seeking meaning in life. We should all be seeking the experience of being alive and being the very best version of ourselves. Let's commit to being the very best we can every single day. Say yes, say yes, say yes is better than saying no. We'll see you tomorrow for day 4. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm getting better. I'm getting better and better and better. And the better you get, the better I get. That's what this community is. Show up. Take advantage of it because it is your opportunity for greatness. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for every single one of you that has shared this. Much love. Toodle pip. Piddle pip. Piddle poo. Poodle poo. Poodle pip. Stop saying poo. Goodbye.